Welcome to Curio Pages. In the cradle of Africa, beneath the sun-drenched canopies of ancient trees, a discovery was made, not of gold or silver, but of something far more enduring: energy, comfort, and culture packed into a tiny red berry. This is the story of coffee, a journey from wild Ethiopian forests to bustling modern cities, from spiritual debates to scientific research, all brewed into a single cup. It began, so legend says, with a goat herd named Kaldi in what is now Ethiopia. He noticed his goats dancing with uncharacteristic enthusiasm after nibbling berries from a certain shrub. Curious, Kaldi tried the berries himself and felt invigorated. News of the energizing fruit spread quickly, and by the 15th century, coffee was being cultivated in southern Arabia, particularly in Yemen. Here, it was first used by Sufi mystics to stay awake during night-long prayers, its effects regarded almost as divine. When coffee arrived in Europe in the 1600s, it ignited both fascination and fear. Some hailed it as a miracle tonic, others denounced it as a dangerous poison. Doctors and religious leaders argued, was it medicine or madness, divine gift or devil's drink? Despite the uproar, the coffee house was born. These vibrant hubs quickly became centers of social, political, and intellectual life. In England, they were known as penny universities, places where one could buy a cup of coffee and engage in conversation worth far more. By the end of the 17th century, coffee houses dotted cities from London to Vienna, Paris to Boston. But what gives coffee its kick? The answer lies in caffeine, a naturally occurring stimulant found in the coffee bean, typically around 1.5% in Arabica and 2.7% in Robusta. It stimulates the central nervous system, increases alertness, and boosts circulation. But caffeine is not the whole story. Coffee is a complex chemical cocktail. Inside each roasted bean are hundreds of compounds, many still not fully understood. These include acids, polyphenols, and aromatic oils, all of which interact with caffeine to produce its wide-ranging effects. Even the smell of freshly brewed coffee can stimulate parts of the brain linked to alertness and pleasure. And coffee's impact is not the same throughout the day. In the morning, it stimulates the kidneys, helping rid the body of nighttime waste. After lunch, it aids digestion by activating the gastric glands. By afternoon, it lifts muscle tone and banishes drowsiness. In the evening, for some, it can sharpen the imagination, but for others, it may disturb sleep. Interestingly, the way we drink coffee matters too. Adding milk or cream changes the chemical equation. The proteins in milk partially bind to caffeine, weakening its stimulating effect. In a sense, you're mildly decaffeinating your drink without realizing it. By the 20th century, coffee had become one of the most valuable global commodities. New technologies transformed its production. Vacuum-sealed tins, instant coffee, and industrial roasting made it a household staple. Coffee cultivation spread rapidly, first to Java and the Caribbean, and later to Brazil, which today remains one of the world's largest producers. Meanwhile, the growing demand inspired innovation, not just in flavor and brewing methods, but also in how to make coffee without caffeine. The story of Decaf begins with a German coffee merchant named Ludwig Roselius. Convinced that caffeine had contributed to his father's death, he sought to create a coffee that preserved the taste, but not the stimulation. The breakthrough came accidentally, when a shipment of coffee beans was soaked in seawater. The water had removed much of the caffeine, but the flavor remained. Roselius patented a method using steam and solvents like benzene, a technique that would evolve into modern decaffeination. Today, decaf coffee must contain less than 0.3% caffeine in the EU and is often produced using water extraction, carbon dioxide, or ethyl acetate. Modern science has uncovered new dimensions of coffee's power. Polyphenols in coffee may help prevent cancer, reduce inflammation, and support cellular repair. Studies suggest that habitual coffee drinkers have a lower risk of developing type 2 diabetes, thanks to improved insulin sensitivity and glucose metabolism. Coffee may protect the liver, reduce the risk of Parkinson's disease, and even act as a mild antidepressant in some individuals. Caffeine itself can interfere with the development of gallstones, promote bile flow, and stimulate gentle contractions in the gallbladder, preventing the crystallization of cholesterol. But not all coffee is created equal. Arabica beans, grown at higher altitudes, offer a smoother, sweeter flavor with notes of chocolate, berries, and floral undertones. They're prized for their complexity and lower caffeine content. Robusta beans, more resilient and caffeine-rich, have a stronger, more bitter taste, with earthy, woody notes, and are often used in espresso blends for their robust creamer and intensity. From ancient mystics to modern scientists, from sleepy villages to corporate boardrooms, coffee connects the world. It energizes, inspires, and comforts. In every culture, on every continent, coffee is more than a drink. It is a ritual, a companion, and a story shared across time. This is coffee, humble bean, global journey, endless fascination. That's all we have for today. Thank you and have a nice day.